Hi, I'm Mark McVeigh, and my presentation this week was on, or is on, basically labor and how it related to governmental action, and also Christianity around the turn of the century, having to do with labor strikes and things like that. The research came from either the Project Muse or the Oxford databases. I did find those to be a little more difficult to get good information out of because a lot of times I couldn't get to articles that I would find, or we didn't have access through Liberty like we do in other places. The first article is by George Suggs, and that's really, he just really went through how the state of Colorado, mainly the governor there, was very pro owner in almost every labor dispute that came up around the turn of the century. And that's not really very different than most Western states. Most states tended to support the owners, whether it was in the West, the Midwest, or even back east at the time. But I just found it's going to be useful to show that there's a track record of that going on in the country at the same time. The next three articles that I did were actually kind of new and interesting to me and dealt with Christianity and labor movements. And the first one by Jared Roll, he really looked at miners in Missouri in the lead fields there. And he actually looked at Charles Parham, who was a Pentecostal minister who had been at Topeka Faith Bible College, I believe it was. And he was kind of most famous for publishing or spreading the word that he had students that were able to talk in tongues in in Kansas there. But I didn't find his arguments very. He talked about how Roll spent some time with miners, but he didn't actually have a lot of information on that. So, but I think that it definitely showed that there was some evangelical attempts in mining camps. And I remember in our American religion class coming across that and some lumber camps and things like that. So I thought that was very interesting. The next two articles, or the next two works, were both by Janine Drake. One is a book on how Protestants viewed Christianity and how they used it kind of against the socialist workers movement. And then her next article was on really how socialists used Christianity to their benefit, especially Eugene Debs. And that's the one article that one of the couple articles that I've actually had published really dealt with that too. So, and I had not come across Drake's work. So there's a kind of a gap in my research there. And so I'm glad I came across that. But really, she makes good points on both sides and how Christianity was really used to help workers when it, with people like Eugene Debs and things, and to promote their cause and their point. And then again, how Protestant families who tended to be the more middle class and upper class folks tended to use Christianity and talked about more, the Protestant work ethic. They weren't taught, they didn't call it that at the time, but kind of like Max Weber would call it. They spoke about how our job was to get the work done and not necessarily to um, to go on strike, and the people didn't have that right and things. So I thought all four articles were pretty useful to me. So I'd say it was a successful bout in research there. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.